How's it going, Packers fans? Bass here, and with the Green Bay Packers' first preseason game right around the corner, just a little bit over 24 hours away, in this video, I'm going to be giving you 4 things to watch for in this game. So the Packers do play the Texans tomorrow in Lambeau at 7 p.m. Central Time. So before I get this video started, to all those who are new here that aren't subscribed yet, definitely consider going down and clicking that subscribe button. I put out a bunch of Packers content, news, highlights, and all that sort throughout the season. Alright, so let's jump right into the video. Number 1 should be pretty obvious. This is probably everyone's number 1, and that is Jordan Love. This is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, these will be his first ever NFL snaps. So this will be the first time that we actually see Jordan Love real time. Now, obviously, you can see him making throws in camp, but that's not real pressure. You know, this is a preseason game where you can actually get hit. You have other guys fighting for jobs that are playing against you and want to go and hit you. So this is going to be a whole different avenue, and I'm hoping he handles it very well. I'm very interested to see how he deals with pressure, like I said, and then also how he goes through his reads. Is he going to look calm and poised back in the pocket? And speaking of the pocket, I want to see how much Jordan Love scrambles, because there is some reports this camp that during team sessions, Jordan Love seems to like to scramble, get out of the pocket, kind of like Aaron Rodgers. So he's a fast quarterback. I mean, he's pretty quick. I think he ran a 4.7 40, and I think he's going to run a little bit more than you would expect. I mean, I believe it was one of Aaron Rodgers' first preseason games where he was running around a lot. So you could definitely probably expect that from Jordan Love in this game. So not that this needs to be said, but obviously Aaron Rodgers isn't playing in this game. I don't think he's going to play at all in the preseason, and rightfully so. They didn't have preseason last year and everything was just fine, so there's real no point to put all these starters in when you don't have to and risk injury. So this is going to be the Jordan Love show. Obviously, we still have Kurt Benkert, who is fighting for a roster spot. I believe he's going to be a practice squad quarterback. I don't think the Packers would keep 3 quarterbacks, but obviously Jordan Love's going to be the backup. He's going to be the number 2 quarterback, so he's probably going to get around 50 minutes in this game, I would think, and then Kurt Benkert might get, the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter or something like that, or maybe the whole fourth quarter. But generally speaking, the majority of this game is going to be Jordan Love, and I'm just very excited to see that. All right, so now moving on to number 2, we're going down to the offensive line, but specifically in the trenches. So we obviously already know what we have with left tackle and right tackle. Billy Turner's going to be right tackle. And then to start, Elton Jenkins is going to be left tackle, but obviously once Bach is ready to play, he's going to be left tackle. So there's no questions there. But when you go inside at left guard, we have some competition going on. We have John Runyon Jr. versus Ben Braden there at left guard. At center, it's going to be Josh Myers' job, but you still want to watch him this game, because this is also going to be Josh Myers' first NFL snaps. And then moving over to right guard, it's most likely going to be Lucas Patrick, but there's still competition there. It's not 100% certainty that Lucas Patrick's going to be the right guard to start. Royce Newman's been running with the 2s there at right guard, but also if Ben Braden and John Runyon were to play well enough this entire preseason, they could be the 2 starting guards. And then, of course, you got the 2 rookies from Wisconsin. You have Cole Van Lanen and John Dietzen. Now, Cole Van Lanen's mainly a tackle, but yesterday's practice, he did take some snaps at left guard, so just kind of like showcasing a little bit of his versatility. And then undrafted free agent John Dietzen is a guard as well. So other guys there also fighting for potential practice squad spots, back end roster spots. The Packers usually keep around 10 offensive linemen, so there's still a few spots left for some of those young guys. All right, so for number 3, I have the fight for wide receivers. So obviously we know the 5 wide receivers that are roster locks: Devontae Adams, MVS, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, and Amari Rodgers. Those guys are locks. Obviously, there's no way none of those 5 don't make the roster. So then you go into the question, are the Packers going to keep 5 receivers? Are they going to keep 6, 7? You don't know. Even a couple years ago, they started with 8. They could do that if they have a couple guys that they believe would contribute nicely on special teams. Now, things to note was Thursday, a couple wide receivers were out with injury, one being camp star Juwan Winfrey with a shoulder injury, and the other being EQ with a hamstring injury. I doubt they will play, because if they didn't practice Thursday, I really doubt they play in this game. And that's a big setback for those 2 guys who are fighting for a roster spot. Juwan Winfrey needs these preseason games to make this roster, because that's how he's going to show out. So if he doesn't play in these games, he's not going to make the roster, plain and simple. And same with EQ. He's probably on the make or break year. So for him, it's make the roster, get some special teams, maybe go in on offense a little bit, but to do that, he needs to play. So I'm thinking the only lock wide receiver that's probably going to play tomorrow night is Amari Rodgers. Might see a little Alan Lazard, I'm not sure, but obviously Devontae Adams and MVS aren't going to play, and I doubt Randall Cobb plays just because you know what we have with Randall Cobb. So this is a big opportunity for Devin Funchess. I would say he could single himself out in this game because the fact that Winfrey and EQ are hurt. When Devin Funchess is fighting for that 6th spot, so he could really single himself out in this game. Now, he was a little limpy the past 2 practices, but I would 100% believe that Funchess will play in this game. And then, of course, the other wide receivers that are still kind of in the mix, we have Reggie Bagleton, Chris Blair, Malik Taylor, DeAndre Tompkins, so a bunch of other receivers there that can showcase their talents on offense and also special teams. All right, so last but not least, for number 4, we have the young/rookie defensive backs. Now, this game tomorrow night is going to be the limelight for Eric Stokes. He'll be cornerback 1 tomorrow because, as I said, with all the other star players on this team, they're not going to be playing. So Jair Alexander obviously not going to be playing. Kevin King just returned to practice and was limited yesterday, so he's definitely not going to be playing. So, like I said, the limelight will be on our rookie first-round draft choice, Eric Stokes. I believe he should start. He should be getting reps against Texans rookie wide receiver Nico Collins, who I'm interested to watch that matchup because Nico's a big physical receiver. Also, is pretty quick. He's 6'4", but obviously we know Eric Stokes is extremely fast. But how is he going to handle a young, physical 6'4" wide receiver? I'm very interested to watch that. Now, we might see some of Chandon Sullivan early, but after that, it's going to be the Shamar Jean-Charles show there at slot cornerback. He's definitely slot cornerback 2 in this defense and probably the future at slot cornerback, considering Sully's on the last year of his deal and the Packers' money issues come next year. So I'm also very interested to see how Jean-Charles handles that slot role because he did play a lot of boundary corner in college. So he said he's getting used to playing the slot where he doesn't have his back against one of the sidelines, and you have to cover both directions essentially. So very interested to see him play that role. He's probably going to be matched up against the new wide receiver on the Texans, Anthony Miller. They traded for from the Bears, who's a very shifty, pretty good slot wide receiver. So definitely interested for that matchup. And then, of course, we have the other cornerbacks fighting for that 6th corner roster spot. We have Kadar Holman, KB Ento, Josh Jackson, and Stanford Samuels. So all those guys are going to be fighting for that 6th spot if the Packers do indeed keep 6 cornerbacks, which they usually do. So all those guys are going to be fighting for that spot. So they're definitely going to get a lot of reps come tomorrow night at outside corner. And then finally, jumping back to safety, this is assuming that when Will Redmond returns off the PUP, he will take that 3rd safety spot, which I believe he will. I don't know the longevity of the injury, if he'll even be put on the starting 53 or stay on the PUP. But if the Packers keep 4 or 5 safeties, there's 4 guys fighting for those 1 or 2 spots. Obviously, we have a draft pick from last year, Vernon Scott, and then some free agents. We have Henry Black, Ennis Gaines, and Christian Uphoff. And Ennis Gaines has been having a very, very solid camp, so definitely excited to see him play in real time. A lot of people have been calling him the best undrafted free agent in this year's camp. He technically wasn't in this year's draft. The Packers signed him to a futures contract last January, but I still consider him an undrafted free agent for this year because this is his first play time out of college. And that safety spot they're fighting for, if Will Redmond can't go week 1, is very, very important because we saw a lot in this defense that Joe Barry likes putting Adrian Amos down in the box. So then that leaves Darnell Savage and one of these guys back there. So like I said, Vernon Scott, Henry Black, 2 guys that have some game time experience, and then the 2 guys who have pretty much none or they don't have any, Ennis Gaines and Christian Uphoff, are all going to be fighting for that spot. So that wraps it up. Those are the 4 things I'm going to be watching for tomorrow. Obviously, I'm going to be trying to bring in as much information as I can possible, but these are definitely the 4 things that I'm most interested to watch for. There's so many more things like the running backs and all the other position battles and all that, but these are just the 4 main things. I want to know down in the comments below, what are you specifically watching for tomorrow? Obviously, we're all watching for Jordan Love, but write down in the comment below what specific position battle or player you're going to be keeping your eyes on tomorrow night. So on that note, I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.